Hi, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Salon. I'm Shari Foos, the founder of the Narrative Method. TNM is a practice that uses our stories, our creativity, our humor, and our humanity to connect more deeply with ourselves and each other. We provide a safe space where people can let go of their self-consciousness and instead tap into your incredibly infinite imagination to just follow wherever it leads you. So park the fears, park the inner negative voices, and just sit back and have a good time. And we'll do the writing as soon as we finish talking with Tom. And then Tom's going to stay directly after that and answer some questions. So Tom Werner has been involved in entertainment and media his entire career, 5 decades. Well, let's say 4, makes him sound younger. He has been inducted into the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame, having produced more than 1,500 half hours of quality television, including The Cosby Show, That 70s Show, Third Rock from the Sun, Roseanne, and a jillion more. He is also the chairman of the Fenway Sports Group, which owns the Boston Red Sox, the Liverpool Football Club in the Premier League, and the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL. But I really want to talk with you today, Tom, about your work with the home base program. Can you tell us, and I know that you're there for some special launch, so tell us about that.
Well, I think the origin of this was that when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2007, when you win a championship in one of the major sports, you're invited to the White House. So we were invited to the White House for a celebration. I want to parenthetically say that the Red Sox have won 4 World Series since we took over. So if there are any Yankee fans here, good luck this year. But you haven't had as good a century as we've had. But at any rate, so we go down to Washington, and I thought it would be worthwhile for our players to go to Walter Reed, which many of you might know is the hospital that soldiers and veterans go to when they've got serious mental or physical issues. And when I was there, I was talking to the chief medical officer, and this doctor said that they were overwhelmed by the challenges of PTSD. Now, I'm very well versed in what that acronym is, but in 2008, in the winter of 2008, I really didn't understand the complexity of that. We've now well versed in what the military would call the invisible wounds of war, which is really the signature challenges of both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars or conflicts. But at any rate, I came back to Boston after that trip because this doctor had said that over 50% of the patients who were serving in Iraq were coming back with these symptoms. And I think we all know that the suicide rate among veterans is like 3 times the national average, and there are reasons for that. But basically, was much more than just, someone having an addiction to alcohol that was because of the challenges of fighting in that war, or the nightmares of seeing everybody in your unit dying and you not understanding why you were so lucky. But these symptoms, as I said, ranged from alcohol abuse to domestic violence to suicide. And so the VA was overwhelmed by this. And we came back to Boston, and I started talking to the doctors at Mass General Hospital, because that's considered one of the finest psychiatric hospitals in the world. And we decided that we could create a program free of charge that would actually be not just successful in terms of its being able to treat these patients, but also perhaps create some innovative treatments that could be replicated. Anyway, we've now seen, since the start of that program, over 30,000 patients. I'm proud of the success rate because it's one thing to have an idea, it's another thing to execute it. And, at another time I can articulate some of the innovative techniques, but basically, as Shari and I were talking before we got on the Zoom, this is a very, very deserving population that people talk a lot of lip service about helping this population, but the VA does not do a very good job. And I think we're making a small dent in terms of saving people's lives.
Mm. We all appreciate that, really. And yeah, the VA has such a small budget, isn't it? Just like trillions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't want to know the budget. And the fact that they don't give us a penny is another problem for another day.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. So just FYI, don't vote for any candidate who denigrates soldiers.
Amen.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So what has really been your, I don't want to say secret, but what has been the driver that has allowed you to be just at the top of your game in so many arenas?
Well,
No, at the
I
top
think,
of the game.
well, first of all, I'm not sure that I have a secret sauce. I think anybody who says that is already sort of barking up the wrong tree. But I do approach life with a degree, you use the words humor and humanity in talking about it. So I do think it's been very helpful to me in my life that um, I do see things with a good sense of humor. When I was at ABC, at one point I was in the development part of ABC and developing programs, and I was very fortunate to be there and helped create shows like Mork and Mindy and Three's Company and Love Boat and Taxi and all that. But basically, I had a portfolio of trying to develop shows. And the reason I gravitated towards comedy is, first of all, the scripts were half as long. And we were also doing movies of the week, so they were a third as long. So I felt, oh my God, I don't have to spend my Sunday reading hour-long dramas. But basically, it was more fun. I mean, it was more fun to be able to laugh. And so, and then you would, when I started making shows on my own and own the copyright, it was just fun to go to work. And, obviously, the results were great, but I didn't do it because, oh, this is something that could make me wealthy. I did it because I was just having fun and working with really smart people. And, if there was something good about those shows, it was that they were worth their time. People, it wasn't just like cotton candy. And, I take Roseanne, for example. I mean, there was always some emotional storylines going on and some pain. And, and I don't really want to touch too much on Bill Cosby's extracurricular decisions, but making that show was wonderful because it was all about family stories and simple and not forced. And so, I got very lucky in many ways to have had the life that I've had. And the other part of it, is your word of humanity. I do feel blessed, that, I have a wonderful wife. I've got 3 children and 9 grandchildren, and pretty much they're all grounded and they're living productive lives and happy and I wake up and the news these days is very sobering. I mean, people are dying in the Ukraine and people are suffering in the Middle East. And, I'm living a life in which, on any given weekend, I have the pleasure of going to a baseball game or some sort of, we're involved with golf, so I could go to a golf tournament or a hockey match or whatever. And so, I mean, I feel in some ways I live in the toy department of life.
Love that. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about that toy department. How can all of these extraordinarily creative people tap into their own toy department?
Well, again, I don't want to, be like dropping these
No,
commands
not, well,
from on
just,
high.
well,
But
yeah.
but I would say if I was, when I talk to people who were students and I sometimes lecture, I say, it's very important not to listen to too many other people. And that, it's like there's a great value in being a contrarian. And all the shows that I did, you can't believe that. I mean, the Cosby Show was seen by 75 million people every Thursday night. And the next show that I pitched was about Roseanne, and NBC, which was making millions on the show, turned that show down. And
Wow.
ABC was worried about it because Roseanne herself is very acidic, or she's edgy. Then Third Rock from the Sun, I pitched that show to ABC, and they ordered the pilot and looked at the pilot with John Lithgow in it, and turned and said that they didn't want to order 13 episodes. And I was very fortunate to get NBC to put that show on the air. So nothing that I've done has been easy. And I just sort of approached it all with a certain sense of like common sense.
Well, those are two gems: to trust yourself, stay with yourself, stay with what you believe in, and also to be a contrarian. I love that because, on one hand, we're all told, especially women, to be nice. And being nice is really different than being steady with your vision. I love